Okay, good morning, you guys. I'm so sorry. It has been one heck of a morning, and I am still working on trying to get my day moving in the right direction. Give me a second, let me finish saying my stand up, and we will start our study. All right. Hey, so we are just getting ourselves together. It's not my best morning, but hey, that's life. Can't win all the time. Just reheating my coffee. We're gonna get the mushroom coffee reintegrated into it. There's just been one thing after another. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. It's just my father. Don't need any unsavory comments. Whoa, hey, okay. So the spamming of emojis in chat, no thank you. Oh, yes. Coffee. One more, and I will have to kick you from the chat because I'm not going to do that. Thank you. I certainly am struggling this morning with a few different things. It's a holiday here in the States today. It's only really recognized by government facilities. So our public transportation is running on a wonky schedule, which means, okay. I did warn you. I'm not fiddling around with that. We're not doing that today. Anyways, so public transport is running funky today, and the ride I had figured out, hang on, this is gonna get really bright. It changed, and so I'm hoping that my coworker answers me in a reasonable amount of time so I can ride with them. There we go. Hi. It's a little bit better. At least there's some normalcy, and because I so desperately need it, I'm gonna go grab my study book and my Bible, and we're gonna do our Bible study together so I can kind of reconnect myself to reality. Hey, Jess, I'm glad to see you here right now, sweetie. I totally understand. Life is happening, and it's happening fast. I've got Mr. Barry in the background today too. He's off work for a couple more days with his leg break, so hopefully we get some good news today when he goes in to get that checked. So happy to have you check it out, Walking Tall. So let me go grab that. Let's get this started. So tight squeeze through there. Okay. I don't know, maybe this ankle's a little better because I'm able to actually read the chat, kinda, even though I'm blind as can be. Today is January 19th, and we're going to be reading in the book of Acts from chapter 10. Let me get there. Bye. Hope you have a blessed day. And that is verses 30 through 35 and then 39 through 43. So we'll start with 30 through 35. I'm shaking. Lord, thank you for giving us our time together this morning. Thank you for bringing the people to the stream that need to hear from you. I pray that your words come through me in a way that touches the hearts of those that need you right now, God. Lord knows I need you at the moment. Please bring comfort into my home and bring it in so much abundance, like we talked about last week, that I'm able to have that overflow to comfort others. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So starting in verse 30, it says, Cornelius answered, 3 days ago, I was in my house praying at this hour, at 3 p.m. Suddenly, a man in shining clothes stood before me and said, Cornelius, God has heard your prayer and remembered your gifts to the poor. Send to Joppa for Simon, who is called Peter. He is a guest in the home of Simon the tanner, who lives by the sea. So I sent for you immediately, and it was good of you to come. Now we are all here in the presence of God to listen to everything the Lord has commanded you to tell us. Then Peter began to speak. I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts from every nation the one who fears him and does what is right. And then we jump down to 39 through 43. We are witnesses of everything he did in the country of the Jews and in Jerusalem. They killed him by hanging him on a cross, but God raised him from the dead on the third day and caused him to be seen. He was not seen by all the people, but by witnesses whom God had already chosen, by us who ate and drank with him after he rose from the dead. He commanded us to preach to the people and to testify that he is the one whom God appointed as judge of the living and the dead. All the prophets testify about him that everyone who believes in him receives forgiveness of sins through his name. And our study today is called From Every Nation. London is a cosmopolitan city with people from many nations living side by side. This coming together of people from around the world can bring richness, including amazing food and challenges. For instance, I was saddened that friends from one European country felt they were the least respected in London because their country had been admitted to the European Union more recently. They felt overlooked, blamed for problems, and resented for the jobs they secured. Since God doesn't show favoritism, neither should we. He breaks down barriers between people. We see his spirit at work in Peter's vision while praying on the rooftop, and how Peter was called to minister to Cornelius, a God-fearing Gentile. God helped Peter evaluate the Jewish regulations about not associating with Gentiles. The apostle listened and went to Cornelius' home to share the good news of Jesus. He said, I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts from every nation the one who fears him and does what is right. Those who follow Jesus are called to love and serve all those who are made in the image of Christ. Part of that mission is to not show favoritism for people from certain nations or with particular skin colors. May we learn to seek justice and to defend the oppressed as God guides us. Isaiah 1:17. And that's important because it's so easy for people to turn away. Hey, good to see you, Emma. It's so easy for people to turn away. And I've heard the excuse so many times. I've used the excuse so many times that, oh, well, Christians are judgmental and they're exclusive and they're cliquey and no one wants to be a part of it. Well, of course no one wants to be a part of that because that's not what we're called to be. We're not called to think that we're better than other people just because we follow the one true King. God does not show favoritism. He loves everyone equally, as we are called to love everyone equally because we are his children and we are to live in his image, and that includes not showing favoritism. I did dye my hair green. This is the year of growth and change. I figured green is one of my favorite colors, so I'm gonna use it. Plus, I've done just about every other color already. I've done pink and blue and purple, red. I do red a lot. Green, and I want to say orange. Green and orange are the only ones I've really shied away from, but not this year. Figured there's no harm in trying, and if I don't like it, well, hair grows out. It'll be 2 or 3 years, it'll be the same length, but back to its original color. So, but I think that's a great call out. And especially when I've been really struggling with that at work. Really struggling to show love and compassion and acceptance to everyone, no matter the situation. Because it's like I catch myself constantly when someone comes up to my register and being like, oh no, like under my breath or in my head, like, you are just a pain in my behind. And just like so frustrated with an interaction when it's like, I don't know why that person's behaving that way. I don't know what they're dealing with out of this interaction. So why am I judging them based on only this interaction? Like, I'm here to serve. That's it. So, Emma, not really, but that's never been my goal. My goal is for the people who are meant to see these videos being the ones that see these videos. If I get 1 view or 1 million views, the message stays the same. So, anyways, let us remember God doesn't show favoritism, and neither should we. We need to be accepting and loving of everyone, no matter how they are towards us, because that's how we live a life that reflects Christ. That's why when I tell people, I'm like, I don't get offended if you comment my content isn't for you. If whether you announce in the chat or not that you're uncomfortable or you don't like it or whatever, okay, that is totally fine. I can respect that and have a nice day. I hope you find content that resonates with you. I'm not going to change what I'm doing just because other people don't necessarily agree with it. So we're just going to keep plugging away at the calling that God has given me. So, oh, that's why there's no school today.
That would explain it.
I wonder if the other two had school today.
Not sure.
I don't see the newsletters anymore. So, hello, James Kelly. Thank you for being here. Hello, yours truly, Todd. I try to. I take a God-focused approach, and our pastor yesterday challenged us this week, and I didn't do it this morning, and I think that's part of why I'm really struggling today. Like, just the last few days piled up all at once. But he challenged us to let the first thing from our lips be, this is the day that the Lord has made. And it's part of a song. I mean, it's a great phrase in and of itself, but it's part of a song. And the second part of that is, I will rejoice and be glad in it. And whew, do I want to be happy? Do I want to be joyful and grateful? Because God has done so much in my life on a positive note, and He's helped me grow so immensely. But I will admit I'm struggling today just because there's a lot going on. And then the things that I thought I could control in my life, I lost my earbud. And that was just kind of like, are you kidding me? Like, how do I lose that? I literally had both in this morning. Where did it go? The public transportation systems are not running today. Because it's Martin Luther King Day. So I can't get to work unless my coworker texts me and says that she can be here and pick me up, which I will be constantly checking my texts. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry you're sad. So it's like I'm struggling to be joyful today, but at the same time, count my blessings. You know, we're still alive. I still have a job I can go to. I don't have much sick time, but I have some sick time that I can use to cover today's shift. So I don't need to I might go back to a verbal warning just that, hey, figure out your ride situation, and they've been really understanding and really forgiving about the whole thing. So it is what it is. And we're just going to keep plugging away because God has continued to provide this job for me, has continued to ensure that the days that I need to be there, that I find a way to be there. So it's like, I'm not worried. So Emma, it's not your job to challenge chat. They weren't saying anything offensive. See, I think you've got to be careful with that though, because there's so many things, Todd, where it's like it feels like it overlaps, but just tread lightly. That's all I would recommend. You can live a peace-driven life as a Christian. In fact, we're called to do so. And that's why I come on here and I tell people, I'm like, I'm not here to change minds, change hearts, change direction. That's not my job. My job is just to come on and tell my story and to share the work that God's doing in my life. And I will always stand by that. Oh my goodness, my freaking hands are so dry. Okay. Hey, Lovey. Will you pass me one of my palettes over there? I'll work with whatever you hand me.
You think so?
Yeah. Thank you. Let's see here. What are we feeling? Oh, I know what we'll do. Perfect. Love it. So, I'm still going to get ready like I'm going to work. We'll figure something else out. Maybe I'll just end up walking. If I'm doing that, I'd have to leave here probably by 8 o'clock. And it's going to be a very cold walk. I just don't have money for a taxi. I got 2 legs and a heartbeat. There's no reason I can't walk. I can stream the walk. Show you guys my my town, maybe. I don't know. You know, it wouldn't be the weirdest and worst walk that I've taken. I gave myself heat exhaustion one year. It was like 80 degrees out. And I had to work, but I also had class at the college at the time. It was like maybe a 2 or 3 mile walk, give or take. Right, and that's a good approach to take, Todd. I'm just saying that putting a religious label on it, like saying you're exploring the fundamentals of Buddhism, is a dangerous way to approach it. Because others who may not have the same understanding of faith as you could get the wrong idea and be misguided. Yeah, I don't like that. First of all, I'm very happily married. My husband is literally sitting next to me right now. Second of all, I haven't done a weigh-in in a while, but I have been trying to be focused on my mental health healing so that I can lose weight this year. I'm very excited to say that for the most part, I am starting to accept that more often than not, if I think I'm hungry, I'm either dehydrated or because it happens later in the day, I may be tired. I may be misreading my sleep cues as hunger cues because my food relationship was so messed up. I think I might need to say goodbye to this palette. I think this is just, it's not going on as smooth anymore. So last I weighed in, I was 319 pounds. My goal is to be 180 by Christmas. And if not 180, at least down to like a size 14 jeans. Because I'm not happy where I am. I don't like my body where I'm at. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. But I'm also scared to change, which is why I'm in a group therapy class. And we actually have a meeting tonight, so I'm really excited about that. It's a God-based healing process. That's an opinion. Enjoy your opinion. No one is making you dye your hair this color. But yeah, so we have a meeting tonight, and I'm actually really excited to go over our study questions. So, like I said, it's an opinion. Your goal was to come in and hurt people, and there was no need for it, so, you know, it doesn't always work. I hope that you heal from whatever is hurting you to make you want to come and hurt other people. But yeah, so we have a meeting tonight, and I really I feel like I tried to dive in with my writing to answer the questions, but at the same time, it's so much easier for me to dive in deeper out loud. Because I was also kind of on a time crunch trying to finish them before I clocked in. And that was poor planning on my part. But it's one of those things that I know once I start answering them out loud, more connections are going to happen and more. Hang on. I don't know why it's so hard to talk and do my eyeliners at the same time. So the group is called Celebrate Recovery, and it's for hurts, habits, and hangups. And so it's just addressing all kinds, like something as simple as my nail biting, or something as big as I haven't talked to my family in 13 years. Like that's not my case, but it's whatever you're hurting with. And it's kind of like a support group, a Christian-based, spiritual led, like trusting God to do the healing kind of support group. I personally am using it to address, okay, well, why am I binge eating? Where does that need for fulfillment that I'm looking for in food coming from? And how do I move away from that and remember who provides my fulfillment? Because at the end of the day, the food is not going to make me feel better. It's not going to heal the hurt inside my heart. So it's a challenge. Suffering exists. Well, for one, we're being punished for the original sin. And God warned of that before the first sin was even committed, and Adam and Eve still chose to sin. They made a choice to not abide by the rules, and there were consequences for that. So, and even then, it goes even beyond that, because yes, they sinned and there are consequences. But even after they sinned, instead of saying, listen, we messed up, and asking for forgiveness, because God is a forgiving God. It's not, though. Because on top of sinning, on top of eating the fruit that they were not supposed to eat, on top of eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which was already the only rule they were given in the entire garden, on top of that, they then decided to play the blame game after trying to hide from the consequences of their choice. They played the blame game instead of asking us. Instead of, listen, yes, we know that you set this rule and we broke it. Forgive us. How do we make it right? It was just, well, the woman that you got, you gave me this woman to be a companion, and she gave me the fruit. And then the woman says, oh no, but the snake told me it was safe to eat. And it was just that no one wanted to take responsibility. And so God followed through, as any good parent should. And now I view trials like the ones I've been fighting this morning. Think about when you lift weight in the gym to get stronger. It doesn't feel good afterwards. If you're doing it right, your muscles will be sore. You will feel sore. Being a Christian is the same way. You go through trials, you go through trouble, you go through struggles to get stronger, to learn how to lean on God, more thoroughly, more completely.
Trials and tribulations.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the book of Job. Job was an avid follower of God. He believed, he spoke about him, was not shy about his faith, and he was a favorite of God. And because of that, everything was taken from him to test his faith. And he remained faithful. People told him, if God's abandoned you, why would you keep following? Why would you keep doing this to yourself? Just abandon God. There's so much better to be had if you do this, this, and this. Nope, there's a plan here, he would say. Everything is according to God's plan. And if we trust, then even if it doesn't happen here on earth, there's a great reward for us in heaven. That's what I'm looking forward to. Even if we end up homeless, even if we end up with nothing here on earth, which I know won't happen. I know that's not going to happen. But even if it did, okay, I still get to wake up breathing every day. I still get to tell my story every day. And honestly, I also am reminded, especially when I'm struggling and wishing for more, I need to find the actual verse. I know it's in the Gospels. I'm pretty sure it's in the Gospels. Oh my goodness. It's my favorite verse to quote, but I cannot for the life of me recall where to find it. But it's essentially paraphrasing here, but it says that if you can be trusted with a little, how much more will God give you? He is sacrificing his eternal reward for his earthly one. That's all I'm going to say on that. Those people that are doing performative good works, if that, are sacrificing eternal life, eternal rewards, eternal comfort for momentary gain. Because all of that could be gone in an instant. The difference between someone who's been born again as a believer going through that and someone who hasn't, I can sit here and be comfortable and happy. Well, that's where we come in. That's why I do this live stream. That's why when I'm at my job and I'm working with the public, if I see an opportunity to say, God be praised, I do. Because that falls on us to make sure that we talk to as many people as we can. God finds a way. And that's where faith comes in. I'm doing my part where I'm called to do my part. Unfortunately, I haven't been called to remote parts of Africa or Asia or anything like that. That's not where God wants me to work. But I know people who have been. And they'll continue doing his work. One of my favorite stories in relation to that kind of stuff is when I was a child, I used to get really into reading about missionary work over in like China and such. And those people, that's why Jesus died. In those 3 days between his death and his resurrection, he was in hell and he was snatching the keys of hell away from Satan and taking away his power. And those that had lived lives that were faithful to God, 2,000 years before Christianity was a thing, people were still within the realm of understanding creation, of understanding the flood, of understanding the all-knowing power that existed that created these things, whether they understood it as God himself or they chose to attribute those things to false gods, they still knew that there was a higher power. So Jesus died, and during that time that he was gone, took that opportunity for those that were faithful to God and freed them from their chains. So now we look forward. It's not our job to look back. It's not our job to judge, period. God doesn't play favorites. That's what our whole study was about today. But it's not our job to look back and worry about the people that God has already judged. It's our job to look forward and do as much as we can that's within our power to live a life that reflects him and his love and his acceptance and his desire to save everyone. We can't save people. Let me be very clear about that. We can't do the saving, but we can live a life that glorifies God and gives him credit for everything, because it's in that the people that have soft hearts to hear the word will have a heart to change and to follow, because that's what happened to me. I had friends that never really expressly, oh, you should come to church, you should come to Bible study, check out what I'm reading today, here's what God's doing, here's what, but every time I was around them, they found a reason to thank God for existing, to thank God for provision, to thank God for another day being alive. And just witnessing that it wasn't being shoved down my throat. It wasn't in a, well, you have to believe us because look at XYZ. It was just this is the day the Lord has made. And they did rejoice and they were glad. And in that, I was encouraged and I wanted a piece of whatever that was. And so I sought him out of my own free will. He is giving me a magnificent life. He is, though. I have a roof over my head where many people don't. I have food in my kitchen where many people don't. My lights are on. My water's running. I have a husband who loves me dearly. I have children who are growing up healthy. They are doing great. They are excelling in school. I have a job that continues to provide. Even when I feel like I'm struggling, those struggles are making me stronger, because it's through those struggles, not having a vehicle, not having a place where I know we can go when our lease is up here. Things like that are challenging me in a way that's growing me. And I will cling to that because I know that no matter what comes, God's got it. I could be lying on the street taking my last breath and know that it's for a reason. I may not understand what that reason is. I don't have to. And I've come to peace with that. And that's the biggest thing is coming to terms with being out of control. Earth, I feel like at this point you are just trying to be argumentative for the sake of being argumentative. I can talk in circles till I'm blue in the face. If your heart is hardened to the truth, there's nothing I can do about that, and I'm sad for you, but I will continue to pray for you, friend. I honestly, I don't know how else to word it in a way that you will understand, and so I'm stepping back and choosing to let you sit with what's been said, and you'll either be called into understanding or your eyes will remain shut. But right now I can see that you are choosing not to see the amazing potential. And it's not my job to change your mind. Okay? I'm not religious. Religion is a structure that allows us to learn. Faith. I'm faithful. I'm not religious. I trust God whether I'm part of a structured community or not. she still has not answered me. Okay. If she does not answer me about a ride by 8:30, I will call the store and just explain the situation, because she's supposed to be there at 9. So I'm going to take a quick intermission, go refill my coffee. I shall return. All right. Just grabbed a small handful of tortilla chips to get the dizzy under control. It's going to be a good day. Whether I'm home or at work. If I don't hear from her by 8:30, I'll start walking. Gives me an hour to get into work. And I'll just have to let them know I might be a little late because I'm walking. But it'd be good for me. I have no idea what that means. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. What? That was not what I was trying to... Oh, well, that's fine too. Just do this. There, problem solved. I'm trying to pull myself together for work today. I might need to find a backpack. Make it a little easier to walk to work. Just in case. Because all I have right now that I usually bring to work is a shoulder bag. And I'm not going to walk 3 miles with a shoulder bag. I am going to find a backpack. My pink one is down in the car, or down in the garage, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure last I knew there were books in it.
Okay, then I am going to borrow the blue one that we use for the conventions.
Okay.
Yeah, because I still haven't gotten a text back. So if I don't, I don't. It's okay. And if nothing else, I will, just call, hey, I'm walking. I might be a little late, but I will be there. It's just going to be a day. And that's okay, because it's a day that God has made. I'm breathing. We have a home. It's going to be all right. I need to pack a lunch, so I think I'm going to cut stream a little early today. Because I do need to put something together. Otherwise, I'm going to regret it because I have a 9-hour shift today. And then I have a meeting after that shift. So it's like I need to get my act together and make sure that I am provided for. So I love you guys, but remember, God loves you more. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.